The law of assumption and twin flames. That's the topic of today. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be talking about this because it's been a while that it was on my mind. As you know, I mostly talk about twin flames on this channel. I have dedicated my channel, my work, my everything, not my everything, but what I do to twin flames and the process and the awakening process that goes with it. I've also known about the law of attraction for decades, I would say, maybe 15, yeah, probably around 15 years. And the law of assumption is something that is sort of new. I'm not sure that you are aware of it, but there's so many channels on YouTube opening around that topic. I must say I have been observing, absorbing info. There's some great channels. I can't tell them on the top of my mind like that, but I might link them below because I do want to give credit to people who I learned from in that sense, right? It's about Neville Goddard. They all talk about, yeah, basically what he taught. It's not what he invented at all because it's a law, and like any law, it's divine, it's given, it's always existed. It's just that people are becoming aware of it. So I always knew at one point I don't want to, go into it and make law of assumption videos. That's not what my goal is right now. Never say never. You don't know how things evolve in general, but it is very fascinating to me. Also, in contrast to the law of attraction, I find it very fascinating. But since I'm a twin flame person, let's say, I've always known, or I felt that I really want to address like the two sort of approaches, if you want so, right? Because I have witnessed many coaches who talk about the law of assumption, how they talk about twin flames, or how, in what context they mention it, or what their opinion about it is. And some things are just bugging me about that. So I knew I wanted to address it at one point. So now you know why I'm making this video. At the same time, I usually talk about things, or I prefer to talk about things that I consider myself an expert in, like someone who has experienced it fully, like the thing she's talking about, either experienced it or read 200 books about it, or really knows what she's talking about. And I never really felt I was at that point yet, or I'm at that point regarding the law of assumption. I haven't read like 50 books on Neville Goddard. I haven't read, but still, like all the content I absorbed, I do feel I do have a deep understanding of it, but I don't consider myself an expert. So that being said, I think it's important to say, so what is my take on law of assumption, let's say theory or approaches, and twin flames? So let me tell you the state, or let's say the, how do I say that? Like what is expressed through most coaches or teachers who teach the law of assumption is basically like twin flames is just something that you make up in the sense that you create it, right? Law of assumption is all about your thoughts create. What you assume is what will be shown to you. So there's a lot of things that, like my approach, what I teach and what they teach, I'm going to call them they, where we overlap, right? There's many things that are, aren't new to me at all. Like the world is a mirror. Everything gets mirrored back to you. What you are convinced about will be shown to you. And in that same way, blocks will be shown to you, right? And in the twin flame community or on my channel, I always mention that a twin flame is the strongest mirror you can meet in life. Everything is a mirror to you, right? Every person, your neighbor, your boss, your mom, like everything mirrors aspects of yourself to you, but more so assumptions, right? Convictions, core beliefs, as we call them, wounds, blocks, as we call them, that you have about relationships, that you have about love, that you have about men, about women, about yourself, about you being able to be in a relationship, you being able to be loved, you being worthy of being loved. A lot of worthiness blocks come up on the twin flame journey, right? Do I deserve this? Am I deserving of having such a great man? Am I deserving of having this unconditional love? Like, that's where we overlap. Like, we're not like reinventing the wheel here at all. Plus, what I've always taught is that your twin flame union is a act of manifestation, right? It's a law. It's based on the law of attraction. Is like, become aware within that you're already one with them. You're already in a happy, harmonious relationship with them. You have never been separated. Separation isn't real. You feel the union within, you feel it in your heart, you make peace with your twin flame relationship in your heart, and from there it will manifest outward. So the whole inward outward, like the law of, what is it, so above as below, so within so without, right? That is what I've always proclaimed. So that's where we overlap, right? Let's start with that. That's where we sort of agree. Where I do have an issue is where it becomes like when coaches say, as I said, you sort of make this up. Of course you're gonna feel that this person is the one and only for you if that's what you assume. So it will be, because you're the only creator of your reality, which is true. You create your reality by your thoughts, by your convictions. The world is but a hologram, right? What you believe, you project outwards and you see it everywhere. So if you're convinced this is my one true love, of course you're gonna see proof of it. Of course you're gonna see, 1111 all over the place. If you saw a video on that the night before, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, true. Maybe, this person is my twin flame, and maybe I'm on a spiritual awakening, and now I start seeing numbers, right? That's sort of, I'm probably simplifying, but a little bit, that's what the basic assumption is of law of assumption coaches, right? So if we go deeper, it's also, they say, as I said, you are a part of God, right? Which I always said the same. You're an expression of God. God is expressing himself through you, through the individual that you are, through the individual you that you are. God is expressing himself, and you are created in the image of God. So as he created you, you are just as much of a creator as God is. So you become God of your reality. You are God of your universe. There's nothing outside of yourself. There's nothing outside of your universe but you as the God who creates all that you go through, right? So far, so good. No issues there. I do agree with that. But where I see things slightly differently is that, well, we agree on that part too, that you have not created yourself. God has created you. You have not created yourself. You're here, and as an expression of God, you now create everything. You create your experience, your life experience. But taking a step back from that, in order for you to exist, you must have been created. And yes, probably beforehand you chose, what lessons you want to go through in this lifetime, what body you want to have, what parents you want to have, like all this, like I'm diving deep into this, like as sort of my next chapter of, how I'm like training myself to evolve and beyond the current state of knowledge I have, beyond the current consciousness I have and the current awareness. So I'm always evolving, right? And currently I have no more doubt, yes, we pick these things, right? So yes, already there, maybe we assume this to be someone incarnated that we are now, but even then we have not created ourselves. So we have been created by God. And if we have been created by God, and God chose to make us two, two people in two bodies, but one being one expression, one divine expression, one soul in two bodies, then that's what it is. Then that's what God created us to be. It doesn't mean that we don't create our reality, right? Back to law of assumption, law of attraction, both, right? It doesn't mean that our thoughts don't create, that thought transmission isn't real, that we can get everything we want through assuming and through having done that inner work of having achieved a self-concept where we know we are loved, we are love, we can create everything, we are God of our realities. That is all true. But it's as if it was a bigger frame to the whole thing, where it's like, okay, but before all that happens, before all that can be put into practice, sort of, there is the creation of you who has taken place and who was being expressed in two bodies. Like, you get me, right? So that is my take on it, and that's where I have a problem, where I sort of people who used to be maybe even twin flame coaches, or say I used to believe in twin flames, but now I'm a law of assumption person, and I see that, the whole twin flame thing, good for them, but they're just assuming this to be true. So of course it's going to be true, but if you assume otherwise, it's going to be something else. No, I don't agree with that. I don't think that makes sense even. And if I look at all the client stories that I've received so far, I'm so grateful and so blessed to be able to hear all these stories, to be trusted with these very delicate and very confidential, private, intimate relations. Relations, I mean stories, but story sounds a little bit tabloid. So I want to say, when you relate something, it becomes yes, you tell the history of two people. So they all have common traits. They all come out of nowhere, that they meet that person and it's like boom, and everything changes and shifts, and there's flashes going through your body and things that you can't explain with the law of assumption, where you're just like, oh, yesterday I assumed that I'm going to meet my one true love and boom, here he was. No, lots of times that doesn't happen, not consciously, right? That you manifest your twin flame. Most people who are nowadays know their twin flame, or with them, or have a relationship, or are in a relationship, or talk or don't talk, whatever it is, whatever the situation may be, those people who are now in the process of this twin flame journey, a journey to yourself, where you clean up your life, you get to know yourself, you heal your wounds, you become your own best friend, you become your one true love. All these people that are currently in this process have been thrown into the process. They have not manifested, oh, I want to meet my twin flame because I read online that Katy Perry met her twin flame and now I want them too. Like, no, that's not how it happened for you guys, right? You're adults, you are with 2 feet in your life, you're mostly married, you mostly have kids, you mostly have family, you've been married for decades, some of you, and then boom. And it's something you've never experienced, and where you go, what is this, right? So all this to me is proof that it is real. Plus my own story, right? I know what I feel, I know what I sense, I know what I go through, I see how everything makes sense without me assuming, oh my gosh, I'm now a chosen one and I'm now, going through this huge thing so I can then become whatever. No, I didn't consciously choose that. But then again, if we speak about us being souls and incarnating, what if you chose for this lifetime to want to experience unconditional love? And the best way to be able to do that is by you meeting yourself, your other self, your other you. You meet them and you trigger that out of each other, so you can both heal and come to this place of unconditional love for each other and for everyone, for creation in general. So that's a divine plan that is sort of before you come in and you become your God self of your universe. Yes. but you create as one. You and your twin flame, you're one consciousness, and you're one creative force, and you have one thought of either separation or union or healing or driving towards union, and all these things are done as one, even though it doesn't look like it. So that's my take on it. I will continue to research Law of Assumption. I will continue to watch it, to read about it, to dive deeper, because I do find it very, very fascinating. I've also started to implement parts of it into my coaching, because the parts where I am convinced, okay, that's where it's best placed, where it's not just bypassing inner work, where it's not just, bypassing you becoming your true self and just trying to achieve something on the outside so you can then have it and lose it again, because you don't have fully healed what there is to heal, and that your twin flame is showing you that it needs to be healed. So I'm cautiously implementing little snippets of the law into it. As I said, I've always been working with the law of attraction. That's always, played into everything I did so far. But as I said, law of assumption is a little bit different. So cautiously I'm implementing it. But again, I still feel like the big frame of things, where it is about you becoming your true self, that there's no way around that. However you twist and turn and phrase it, that is the essential meaning and purpose of the twin flame journey. So if I can help you on the twin flame journey, which I would love to, if I can help you with, whatever it is, separating from your husband, becoming your true self, changing jobs, finding your life purpose, that's all built into a twin flame process. If I can help you find or manifest your twin flame, that is possible too. Reach out, get in touch, and we'll be in touch with you. And I hope we can then meet and I can support you to achieve everything you've ever wanted for yourself. And I say thank you for listening and much love. Bye, guys.